Hello and welcome, and in this video we are going to again clean up some of our code. So we're going to finish off the variable sections, cleaning up like converting bools to states instead of bools. So let's just start with the first thing, and the first thing is using an aim state instead of the aiming bool. So we're going to comment out the is aiming just for now, and we'll define an enum for the aim state and given two values for the aimed and the normal state. And I'm going to actually define this as aim state instead to aim normal by default. Aim state to normal. I'm actually going to find all references on this one by uncommenting it so I can see where it's used. And as you can see, we'll define a new function for is aiming so that we can return the aim state as well. And we'll just pass in the aim state is equal to the aim state of aiming. And now instead of using the is aiming old bool, we'll use the function that we defined. And in here, when we are supposed to set it, we'll set it directly to aiming, but we'll have to do a switch statement so that we can, we have to like set it to what it was not. So if it's aiming, we set it to normal, otherwise we set it to aiming. And yep, that should do it. And this code is not needed. And we can use that function here as well. But if you notice right now is that we can actually directly use these function events directly in our switch case statement and remove that comment code. Now we still have this used over right here, so I'm going to make this simplified. I'll pass in my not equal to aiming, then we'll get true, right? So I'm going to copy that, Command X or Control X, and paste it here. Let's reload scripts. I think we can just do this once, and it can be done every time we trigger the button instead of this inside the switch statement. So make it much simpler, and just gonna using the same aim state. It will be set by the time we come to this line. All right, and just in the start we'll set it to what it was by default because it could be anything else. As you can see, the crosshair is enabled by default and set as well, and we can aim and everything's working. We also can let me just swap this weapon. The crosshair does change. Now let's see if we can also do yeah, so the crosshair does turn out and turn on, so it is working just like it was beforehand as well, but slightly more optimized because we're not doing that real day. So the next thing we have to do now, that is to remove the aim bool and or actually just delete it and prevent interaction when you're aimed, because that leads to a few problems and we would not want to actually cause anyone to be aiming and swapping. So I'm just gonna prevent that. It's pretty simple. Just come over here in this else if statement and just add an or state with the is aiming. So if we are aiming, then also we want to set default return. Okay. And the third thing we need to do now is weapon clicked state instead of bool, and some cleaning up as well. So we are going to find all references on this clipped, and then we'll define enum for it, just like we did previously, the clipped and the normal. Then we'll define it as well, give it a name, and set it to default value, which is the normal state. Then, as you can see, oh, it's not navigating me correctly. Some points it just isn't. But I'll find it. So, as you can see right here, we are setting it to false and we're setting it true. So I'm gonna find all references on this function. It's used multiple times in the weapon clipping function. So to clean this function up, first we're gonna fix this function, which is the isClipped function. We'll return the state set to clipped then, and use it over here as well to our needs. Now I'm gonna do a switch statement, and we'll check if it's clipped, and we'll use that just like we're using the if instead, and we'll remove the if like comment out for now, and add that comment above. So right here, this function is being used and it just sets the spine constraint offsets, and it doesn't look very nice to set the function so many times. So I'm gonna make this set once only, but based on the bool, as that's the only thing that is different in all of these functions, function calls, I mean. So I'm gonna define a simple bool with the clipped state, and we'll set it to false. And then on the set constraints offsets, here we're gonna actually pass in clipped. So we'll copy that and paste it over here. So now we can remove that from there and just set the clip variable directly without having to call that function again and again. So that's much better than what it was before. And in here we'll use that function again, not this, not the actual variable, which we'll be removing in a while. So just set it to false, and here as well to false. So 2 trues and 2 statements if here false. All right. So now everything should work. We just remove this from here because this is also useless. And we'll set the state based on what the clipped is saying to us. So if it is true, then we will set it to clipped. Otherwise, we will set it to the default norm. Now we can actually find all references, and we still see they're being used anywhere. So just replace those by the. We'll just change them by well, our own function, which returns the same exact thing. We still have this one. We'll still use the same function here as well, and over here also just make this as clipped, and then over here too. And that should be it. We'll remove the clipped variable, and this has been done with the clipped. Now let's have a look at how it looks. So let's come over here to a object where we should clip, and as you can see, it does work. And also the aim out and things are still working. Now let's just find and remove all these comments here, and of course fix this type of code where we've just assigned for no reason. Yep, just going over all that sections we changed. So I think we're done with that now. Just this function that we'll look around now. So if we find any comments, we can just remove that because it's going to be all old code. So right here, we already have replaced everything. All right, so the aim state as well. So it's all okay, and we can see the aiming also has been cleaned up. So all right, so that's the end of this video. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you want to. In the next one, we will see how we can clean up some of our functions code, and that's going to be the end of this video. So see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.